Ladies and gentlemen, the 14th convocation of the Institute is about to begin. The academic procession is now entering the hall. You are requested to stand up and remain standing till all the members of the procession are seated.
I declare the convocation open.
The Director of the Institute, Professor Gautam Borua, will now present the annual report of the Institute for the academic year 2011-2012.
His Excellency, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, former President of the Republic of India, Dr. R.P. Singh, Chairman, Board of Governors, members of the Board of Governors, members of the Senate, invited guests, graduating students, faculty and staff members of the Institute, parents and guardians, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to the 14th convocation of IIT Guwahati. I take this opportunity to especially thank Dr. Kalam for accepting our invitation to be the chief guest of this convocation and for kindly agreeing to deliver the convocation address. Today, BTech, BDes, MTech, MDes, MSc, MA and PhD degrees are going to be awarded to 858 students. The institute, as I have mentioned, offers degrees in undergraduate and postgraduate programs. Out of currently there are 3,948 students. Of these, 48% are postgraduates. 2,048 BTechs, 229 MSc, 85 MA, 638 MTech, 40 MDes, and 895 PhD students. Today, 858 students are going to graduate, 362 in BTech and BDes, 42 in MA, 114 in MSc, 269 in MTech and MDes, and 71 in PhD. A few details about student achievements. 2 teams of IIT Guwahati students came second and third in the Samsung Splash India on TV 211 design contest. Another 7 teams also took part and came in the best 17 teams. Our congratulations to them. Dr. Vidya Kesari, a former student of the Department of Biotechnology, has been selected for Young Scientist Award of the Indian Science Congress in Agriculture and Forestry Sciences. Dr. Jashmini Deka of Chemistry has received the Materials Research Society of India Young Scientist Award. Mr. Shankar Chakma, an MTech student of Chemical Engineering, has received the Ambuja's Young Researchers Award 2011. Perumal Janaki Ramulu, Research Scholar Mechanical Engineering, has received the Best Student Paper Bronze Award at the International Symposium on Process and Fabrication of Advanced Materials, Hong Kong. And Ms. Sachi Kumari, Research Student of Physics, has received the Plasma Science Society of India Poster Award in the National Symposium on Plasma Science and Technology. Recently, there have been many reports in the media stating that the IITs are good undergraduate institutions, but that their research performance is poor. While this may have been true in the first 20 to 30 years since the IITs were established, it is no longer true. Unfortunately, we have not been able to convey to society the stride made by the IITs in research and development, especially in this century. Let me focus on IIT Guwahati alone. As I have mentioned, about 48% of the students are postgraduates. These numbers themselves tell that while we are indeed proud of our undergraduate programs, we place equal emphasis on our postgraduate programs. Our priority for research is also high. With 300 faculty, we have 350 sponsored research projects going on. There have been 580 journal publications in the last year. There are close to 900 PhD students on campus. Again, the figures speak for themselves. Of course, these numbers alone are not enough. We have to measure the outcome of this research, besides, of course, counting the publications. This is not easy to do, as many of the work have long-term impact. But I must admit, we have not done well in the number of patents or in the number of technology transfers. For the latter, industry must also be ready. And we hope that with the economy growing so steadily, India will move to a new level of development where indigenous technology will be aggressively sought by industry. We are putting a lot of emphasis on strengthening our PhD program. The challenge here is to attract the best students that the country has to offer to our PhD programs. Unfortunately, the number of our undergraduates opting for a career in research and teaching has been declining over the years. In fact, the decline seems to be directly related to the growth in the Indian economy. The challenge before us is to arrest this trend and to attract the best students from IITs, NITs, and other leading institutions from all over the country into our PhD programs. Money is a factor, and we can never compete with the emoluments that industry offers. But I think we can still attract these students if we have large, vigorous research projects in place. When faculty work individually, students get attracted in ones and twos. When faculty work together, students get attracted in tens and twenties. We have to learn from the leading institutions of the world how they attract students. We have to work together to take this forward. Faculty must make the extra effort required to take up large collaborative projects. The institute administration must streamline and simplify its processes and must strengthen its planning to help in the growth of such projects. Graduating students, this is a special occasion for all of you. I hope you will carry happy memories of IIT Guwahati with you. I hope you will be there to help us later on in whatever way you can. I am confident all of you will do well, and I wish you all the best. Jai Hind.
The Chairman, Board of Governors, Dr. R.P. Singh, is requested to address the convocation.
Honorable Dr. Abdul Kalam Sahab Ji, former President of India, members of the Board of Governors, Professor Gautam Barua, Director of the Institute, members of the Senate, faculty and staff, graduating students, their parents, guardians, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure for me to extend the heartiest greetings and warm welcome to none other than our beloved former President of India, Dr. Abdul Kalam Sahab. I also extend my personal great greetings and welcome to all of you who have graced this occasion by your benign presence. The occasion today is both joyous and solemn because it is a major milestone in your career that propels you to the real world. You have put in hard work and dedication to obtain one of the most coveted academic qualifications. I take this opportunity to also congratulate you and your parents who have made sacrifices and stood by you all along, and the faculty members of the Institute who have trained and guided you over the years with the commitment and dedication. Dear students, you are the future of this great nation. You must have dreams and be eager to shape them. I wish you all success in your every endeavor that adds glory to you, to your parents, to your guardians, and to this great nation and the Institute. Today we have amongst us as our chief guest, Dr. Kalam Sahib, who is and should be the role model to every young technocrat and scientist. I say this because the lure of power and money tends to mislead many and individuals. When you are ready to take a plunge in the world of opportunities and become a contributor to economic development and growth of the society, the nation, and the international area, I would like to share some of my thoughts with you on sustainable growth of humanity, which I have cherished as a village boy and as a technocrat, and learned from none other than my own grandfather, who was a small farmer and a small zamindar, but who cared for the society at large, cared for the environment, which is today the real bane of contention. And in every forum, whether it is national or international, it is being debated across the world. My dear students and the guardians and the present dignitaries here, I had based my lecture on differentiating the wealth and money. But Dr. Kalam asked some basic questions, so as a technocrat, I'll touch upon some of the technological things and how the environment of this country and how the social aspect of the country can be protected. First of all, I'd like to share with you, I read some of the Upanishads, Gitas, Vedas, and of course, being from Bihar and having educated at BHU, I studied Chanakya Niti, Chanakya economics, and some of the Rahims and Kabir's Dohas. So I'd like to share with you those who are concerning us today. Friends, nobody is friend if you are not a wealthy man. Wealth doesn't mean you should be a moneyed man. I see here Dr. Kalam as a wealthy man. I consider myself as a wealthy man, or Dr. Barua as a wealthy man. Wealth doesn't mean money. Wealth is dhan, vidya dhanam, can be one dhan. Humility can be another dhan. Passion can be another dhan. You be committed for development of the society. This is another wealth. So you have to be a wealthy man. No one loves a poor man. Chanakya says, Arthasya Moolam Rajyam, means state's glory comes from wealth. If you are a wealthy man, the people loves you. But for a sustainable growth, it is imperative that wealth is created through fair means for the benefit of mankind across the globe. Yesterday, we had our board meeting. We were discussing some of the boys. I don't know whether girls were also there. They were involved in cheating through SMSs. This is not creation of wealth. You are here. You are being educated here in such a glorious institution. You have earned wealth of education. Vidya Dhanam you have got. So whatever wealth you get, you create, it should be through a fair means for the benefit of mankind across the globe, remembering that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the best saying by our own Vedas and Upanishads. And I heard in your institution song, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Sarve Bhavantu Niramaya. That should be the motto. That should be our basis for creation of wealth, not that making money. People are looking towards you. You are the future of country. We are in the background. You have to be innovative. You should come out with such technological solutions which can help and build the society, build the nation. In fact, I am of a strong opinion that technology at the best can provide a solution, but it is a tool for solution, but it doesn't mean that it can be straightway applied. It has to fit into the society, it has to fit into the people, it has to fit in where you are working, it should be accepted by the society. Therefore, while creating the wealth, please be careful that you try to amalgamate environment, social and economic issue. My dear graduating students, you are entering to the arena of professional life where you will be engaged in wealth creation. Therefore, I urge upon you that you must take into account all the three aspects of sustainable development. Global warming has awakened us many global environmental issues. Our planet's ecosystem is under attack on many fronts. Our body structure, in fact, I would like to share with you, as I said, I am from Varanasi. I would like to share with you what Sant Tulsidas ji said. And this is what is the entire gist of our economic development, environmental development, or social development. Chitijal Pavak Gagan Samira, Panch Tattva Rachitya Adham Sarira. What are we made of? If you understand what are we made of? We are made of Chiti, Jal, Pavak, Gagan Samira. Means Asman, Hawa, Pani, Jal or Aag. If you take care of all these five, there will be no environment issues, no social issues, and if you take care of it, the progress will be such that it will be sustainable. The ancient Indian philosophy believes in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, means the entire earth is but a great family. Therefore, we cannot separate ourselves from the world society. The following teachings of Isavas Upanishad also convey the similar message. What does it say? Tenta tyaktena bhunjita ma grada kas isvid dhanam. Isavas Upanishad says, never try to grab others' wealth. Create your own wealth. It is important to remember that creation of wealth is different from making money. Money itself has no inherent value and it does not actually exist. Wealth is what you are left with when you have lost all your money. In fact, let me share with you, the best example is Banaras Hindu University. It was created by a person who had no money, Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya ji. And I'd like to share with you, when he visited the king of Andhra Pradesh, he asked for donation to build a colony for the university. The Nizam denied. He said he has nothing to do with the Hindu University. Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya ji said, humbly he said, can you lend me your shoes chappals. He lended it. He was unmindful how he's going to use. The moment he was out of the palace, he put it on auction. People straight went running to Nizamji and he said that, look here, your juti ka lilam ho raha hai. The man was so touched upon. 200 house colony has been built. It is called Nizam Colonies, Banaras University. So creation of wealth is not necessary for yourself. It should not be for yourself. Whatever you create, you must share. This is what I am going to dwell upon. And in fact, many people have earned money, but no person will be remembered on earth as much as Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya is remembered for creating one Banaras Hindu University. Wealth is things like your passions, your network, your track record, your access to resources, and your knowledge of industry. Unfortunately, in today's topsy-turvy days of consumerism, the sustainable development through creation of wealth has assumed a backbench. Instead, money-making has assumed the center stage globally on the assumption that it will last forever with the holders. Here I would like to share with you the last wish of Alexander the Great. What did he say? When I die, both my hands should be kept dangling out of my coffin, because I wish people to know that I came empty-handed into this world, and empty-handed I go out of this world. In Kali Yuga, what Bhakt Kabir says, which is very, very important for today's our entire administration system, political system, whatever you call it. And this has something to do with creation of money. What I talked about creation of wealth, now I am talking about money. Kalika Swami Lobhiya. Kali means Kali Yuga. Lobhiya means greedy. Kalika Swami Lobhiya, पीतल धारी खटाई. जैसे पीतल के बर्तन में अगर आम या खटाई इमली आप रगड़ दीजिए जिससे उसको खा जाता है, तो आज का जो हमारा एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव सिस्टम इस तरह का है. काली का स्वामी लोभिया, पीतल धरी खटाई. एंड हाउ इज ही कंपेयरिंग? राज द्वारन यूं फिरे. राजा के यहाँ, पावरफुल लोगों के यहाँ इस तरह से लोग घूम रहे हैं. कैसे घूमते हैं? ज्यों हरियाली गाय. जैसे हरियाली खेत में गाय को आप छोड़ दीजिए घास को चरने के लिए, पागल के तरह घूमती है अगर भूखी गाय हो तो. आज हमारा ये सिस्टम है. दिस इज आवर पॉलिटिकल एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव सिस्टम, एंड दिस वाज हेड बाय none other than Sant Kabir, whom I admire, being from Varanasi. Our ancient religions books have advocated the creation of wealth, but with the advice such creation should be through right means. They ask us to share it with the deserving one, and further advise that one should be a custodian of the wealth, not a hoarder. That is what these institutions do. They create wealth, they share with it. Man is a social animal, and wealth is necessary for social status. Bible says, wealth makes many friends. In fact, what does Rahim say on creation of wealth? जब लगी वित्त न आपुनो, तब लगी मित्र न होय. रहीमन अंबु बिन रवि नहीं हित होय. कमल के फूल को आप तालाब से बाहर निकाल दीजिए, कोई नहीं पूछता है, सूख जाता है. तो unless you are a wealthy man, again I said wealth doesn't mean money. It can be vidyadhan, it can be other than. Unless you are a wealthy man, you won't have friends. No poor man on this earth is loved. Means nobody befriends a person without wealth. Sun God also breaks his friendship with lotus flower that is not in water. But remember, wealth also creates enemies. What Chanakya says, this is very, very important. And perhaps this is the gist of my entire lecture. Therefore, Chanakya in Arthashastra advised that one has to share his wealth for the sake of safety of his own wealth. This is further corroborated with the popular saying that you are happy if neighbors are happy. Aptly, Chanakya has substantiated his wisdom, giving the example of honeybee. Please listen, my young boys, very carefully what I am sharing with you. It collects honey, neither consumes nor allows others to consume. तो इसका हस्र क्या होता है? Ultimately, what does it happen? but ultimately others make it away, and the honeybee ruefully rubs their feet against the ground and finally dies painfully. That should not be our case. If you are a wealthy man, in whatever field you are a wealthy man, you must share, you must give it, you must derive the pleasure of giving. If you give more and more you will get. But if you don't give, you try to hoard, people will snatch from you, and ultimately you will die painfully. My humble appeal to my young graduates is that you, as your predecessors have done, please engage yourself in creation of wealth. Make money also, but share with the people who are deserving one. Don't give it to one who is not deserving one. Please be a torch bearer of the society, be a true leader, and go and kiss the world. Thank you very much.
The chief guest of the 14th convocation, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, Honorable former President of India, is now requested to address the convocation.
Friends, good morning to all of you. First of all, I would like to say, you graduating students look smart and nice because of your dress, okay? Normally, I am accustomed to wear a very heavy British gown on a convocation day. You have got a beautiful gown and natural gown and national gown. Congratulations to all of you. Friends, since you are all graduating, there should be something you should carry from this great institution, IIT Guwahati. So I was asking myself, can I give a big lecture to you? I decided to give a short lecture. But I'm going to give you a poem. Have you taken breakfast today? Yes or no? Will you repeat? That's why I'm asking. You all will repeat? The name of the poem is I Will Fly. Okay, that's a poem. I will fly. Now you are going to be with me. I am born with potential. I am born with potential. I am born with goodness and trust. I am born with ideas and dreams. I am born with greatness. I am born with confidence. I am born with wings. I am born with wings. So, I am not meant for crawling because I have wings. I will fly, I will fly, I will fly. All of you will fly, I suppose. Friends, I would like to greet Dr. R.P. Singh, Chairman, Board of Governors, my friend Dr. Gautam Barua, Director, IIT Guwahati, members of the Board of Governors, members of the Senate, members of the faculty and staff, graduating students and other students. Particularly, I greet all the parents who are here and outside, parents and distinguished guests. For all of you, my greetings. Friends, I am indeed delighted to participate in the 14th convocation of IIT Guwahati. I congratulate the graduating students for their academic performance and the faculty members for shaping the young minds. My greetings to all of you. I am happy that IIT Guwahati has been empowering the students with quality technical knowledge, skill, and the ability to inculcate in them the right attitude and holistic values. I am very happy now from Director's report. There are 895 PhD students in the campus, and so research intensity will be increased. And dear friends, today I would like to share with you a few thoughts on this topic, science is reciprocating. The next 10 to 12 minutes, I'm going to talk to you the topic, what is called science is reciprocating. Now, as you are aware, the nation is going through a difficult economic situation due to the international economical ambience and, of course, because of our own creations also sometimes. In spite of this, India has the potential to come out of this difficult situation because of its inherent strength. And when you graduate going out of this campus, you will also play a very important role. And how we can, India has, when I said India has the potential to come out of this difficult situation because of the inherent strength, what does it mean? They are a purchasing power of 400 million citizens in the middle class category, and 600 million youth, like in your age group, 600 million youth who are willing to take up challenging missions. In this connection, we can see how during the last few months we have succeeded in realizing major technological milestones. The scientists and technology of different research and development organizations have successfully launched Agni system with 5,000 kilometer range. Agni missile system has a world-class control and guidance system and advanced composite technologies and a robust multi-stage propulsion system. The second technological achievement is the design and development of a RISAT with indigenous technologies and launched by the proven Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. It is the 19th time successfully launched. I had an opportunity to see the high resolution, the radar satellite pictures. The third event is the first flight of the Naval Light Combat Aircraft, which has been built with unique technologies needed for takeoff and landing in an aircraft carrier. In the health sector, recently we had a breakthrough in the development, production, and deployment of a drug for treatment of malaria in a shorter time and shortened dosage by Ranbaxy in partnership with the Department of Science and Technology. Our agriculture farmers and scientists indeed have worked hard and had produced a record 250 million tons of food grain this year, which is 18 million tons more than last year. All this has been accomplished as a national mission by our scientists, technologists, technicians, farmers, and researchers. I am sure the graduating students from IIT Guwahati will set more challenging goals to be achieved by our scientific research and production organization. Friends, when I was traveling today morning, yesterday evening also, in the Brahmaputra river, of course I come quite often to Assam. Brahmaputra river is part and parcel of me. You know, whenever I see this river, a silent river, and the activity, minimum activity, I have a dream. The dream is Brahmaputra river should become a national river grid, a national smart grid, water grid. It should come, and it should be a very busy waterway. This is my dream. And I was discussing with Mr. Dr. R.P. Singh, Chairman Board of your Board of Governors. He is in charge of national grid, for national power grid. So this, particularly you young students, when you go out, young graduating students, when you go out of this campus, you must think of making, some of you, making a smart Brahmaputra water grid. And it should be all the 24/7 it should operate, and a beautiful waterway and beautiful environment all around. So this is one thing I want to suggest. Now friends, convergence of technology I am going to talk to you. The information technology and communication technology, as you know friends, have already converged, leading to information and communication technology, ICT. Information technology combined with the biotechnology has led to the bioinformatics. Similarly, photonics is grown out from the laboratories to converge with classical electronics and microelectronics to bring in a new high-speed option in consumer products. Flexible and unbreakable displays using thin layer of film on transparent polymers have emerged as new symbols of entertainment and media tools. Now nanotechnology has come in. It is the field of the future that will replace, according to me, microelectronics and many fields with tremendous application potential in the area of medicine, electronics, and material science. When nanotechnology, ICT meet, integrated silicon electronics, photonics are born, and it can be said that material convergence will happen. With material convergence and biotechnology linked, a new science called intelligent bioscience will be born, which would lead to a disease-free, happy, and more intelligent human habitat with a longevity and high human capacities. Convergence of bio-nano information technologies can lead to the development of nanorobots. Nanorobots, when they are injected into a patient, my expert friends say, it will diagnose and deliver the treatment exclusively in the affected area, and then the nanorobot gets digested as it is a DNA-based product. I saw the product sample in one of the laboratories in South Korea, where best of minds with multiple technology work with the target of finding out-of-box solution for healthcare. Now, when I said science is reciprocating, what does it mean? Let me give an example. Recently, I was in the Harvard University, where I visited laboratories of many eminent professors from the Harvard School of Engineering and Applied Science. I recall how Professor Hong Kun Park showed me his invention of nano needles, which can pierce and deliver content into individual targeted biocells. That's how nanoparticle science is shaping the biosciences. Then I met Professor Vinod Manoharan, who showed on the other side, on the other hand, biosciences are in turn shaping nanomaterial science as well. He is using a DNA material to design self-assembling particles. When particular type of DNA is applied on a particle at the atomic level, professor is able to generate a prefixed behavior and automatic assembly from them. This could be our answer to self-assembly of devices and colonies in deep space without human intervention. I saw one single laboratory, how two different sciences are shaping each other without any iron curtain between the technologies. This reciprocating contribution of sciences to one another is going to shape our future, India's future, and industry needs to be ready for it. So it's a very important field that work in the multiple discipline. Now a new trend is emerging. The aspect being introduced is that ecology. Globally, the demand is shifting towards the development of a sustainable system, which are technologically superior. This is the new dimension of 21st century knowledge society, where science, technology, and environment will have to go together. Thus, the new age model will be a four-dimensional. The new age model will be a four-dimensional bio, nano, info, eco-based. I am sure the education system in IIT Guwahati and including research is concentrating to build the curriculum which will emphasize on convergence of technology and remove the interdisciplinary barriers. Friends, during my education, an important milestone was the final project here. Each one of you will have similar experience. I would like to narrate the technique used by my professor to inject necessity in completing our task in time. Of course, I studied aeronautical engineering long ago, and none of you were in idea form at that time, even now. So this professor name is Professor Srinivasan in Madras Institute of Technology. I was studying there 1954-57. That's why you are not in idea form, I said. 54-57, and he's a designer, aircraft designer. As a professor who was teaching aircraft design, he called 6 of us in different field: the aerodynamics, structure, material, guidance and control, and the 6 fields. and assembled all of us, and he said we should do in 6 months project a low-level attack aircraft. 6 people, the different discipline, they have been given a project, finished in 6 months, a study project, a preliminary design project. In those days, we did not have a computer. We used to use a slide rule, 1950s. Slide rule we had to use. And a big drawing board we used to have. So we started the work. 5th month, my professor, when he was going to the tennis court, Sunday, he entered my lab. He saw our progress, how we have done 5 months' work. And he's a very tough professor. He entered and spent nearly 30 minutes with us. He said, your output is hopeless. And since I am the leader of the team, he said, you will be, if 1 month time more, you should finish your design, preliminary design, otherwise your scholarship should be terminated. He's a tough professor. I hope you don't have such professors. So he threatened us, and of course we worked hard. And 1 month really sleepless nights, and all of us converged, and we studied. After a month again, my professor landed there. He appreciated what you had done. He took it to house also. He gave a good hot Madras coffee. But the important message here is not how we completed. What we learned in the 6 months was in the system design, system integration, system management. That is using multiple disciplines, multiple technologies. You can use system design, system integration, system management. And this is what, when you go out of this campus, anywhere you go, they are going to ask you not mechanical engineering system, they will give a project, or as electronics engineering or biotechnology, there will be a system project you will get. Wherever industry or any institution you go, system project. That means you should know system integration, system design, system integration, system management. Even our syllabus in our institutions have to change accordingly. Friends, you should get ready to acquire knowledge in an integrated way for using multiple disciplines towards a product development and its management right from the undergraduate engineering program. I am sure IIT Guwahati is facilitating such an interdisciplinary project experience to all the students. The program on entrepreneurship generation, hydropower, making northeastern state carbon neutral can also become an interdisciplinary project for future batches. Now let me describe you are hearing a lot of things now, Indian progress, economic progress, our ethics progress, our leadership progress, our management skill project, all you are hearing. Now I am going to tell you what should be in the year 2020. In 8 years' time, how India should look like. We had a program 2020, India 2020. That is transforming India to economically developed nation. Let us see 8 years, what should dream, what should achieve. In 8 years' time, distinct profile of India by 2020. A nation where the rural and urban divide has reduced to a thin line. There are 600,000 villages. 750 million people live only in the rural area. When you go out of this campus, one of the challenges, how the divide, urban-rural divide, how do you reduce a thin line? The next one, nation where there is equitable distribution for adequate access to energy and quality water. A nation where agriculture, industry and service sector work together in symphony. A nation where education with value system is not denied to any meritorious candidate because of societal or economic discrimination. A nation which is the best destination for the most talented scholars, scientists and investors. A nation where the best of healthcare is available to all. A nation where the governance is responsive, transparent and corruption-free. A nation where poverty has been totally eradicated, illiteracy removed, and crimes against women and children are absent, and none in the society feels alienated. A nation that is prosperous, healthy, secure, devoid of terrorism, peaceful, happy, and continues with a sustainable growth path. A nation that is one of the best places to live in and is proud of its leadership. Now, how do you do that? All the 10 pillars of development. This is the challenge for 10 pillars of development. To achieve the distinct problem of India, we have the mission of transforming India into a developed nation, economically developed nation. We have identified 5 areas where India has a core competence for integrated action. Agriculture and food processing, reliable and quality electric power, reliable and quality electric power, as surface transport infrastructure for all parts of the country, education and healthcare, particularly women education, information communication technology to connect 600,000 villages, self-reliance critical technology. These 5 areas are closely interrelated, progressed in a coordinated way, leading to food, economic, and national security. Now, one of the key requirements towards achieving the distinctive problem of a nation, what I talked to just now, would be the creation of a sustainable enterprise-driven model at the rural levels. One such system which I suggest is PURA. It is a nation also accepted the PURA concept, providing urban amenities to the rural area. It is the creation of a physical connectivity, electronic connectivity, knowledge connectivities, leading to the economic connectivity of the rural region. With this combined and planned intervention of infrastructure, digital technology, information and enterprise, we can select a cluster of about 20 to 50 villages which share core competence in empower using the local enterprises. I would like to suggest here to the director and also chairman of the board and all the faculty members that the IIT Guwahati may like to pursue the implementation of one such PURA, providing urban PURA complex, covering around 50 to 100 villages on the outskirts of Guwahati, using the potential of the youth of the IIT Guwahati PURA institutions. The PURA will be called IIT G PURA, which would empower the local villages in the region with economically. IIT G PURA will facilitate faculty students and internship program in societal transformation and entrepreneurship. Now, friends, employment generation through entrepreneurship. I see when you go out of this campus, how are you going? Do you think the nation looks for employment seekers or employment generators? See, compared to other graduates, you are all having empowered with the professional education, that is engineering education, technological education, that you should become employment generators. The nation needs from IIT Guwahati employment generators. Can I ask this question? How many of you will become employment generators? How many of you? How many of you? Not bad numbers. Okay. Now, in present context, the education system has to be designed to see that we generate large number of employment generators and not employment seekers. For this, a 3-pronged strategy is needed to make education more attractive, make it skill imparting and specialization imparting, and simultaneously create employment potential. So I have talked about it. Now, the next area, I will be discussing next area. Friends, finally, I will say that in conclusion, I would like to ask you, young friends, what you would like to be remembered for. What each one of you would like to be remembered for. You have to evolve yourself and shape your life. You should write it on a page. That page may be a very important page in the book of human history. And you will be remembered for creating that one page in the history of the nation, whether that page is the page of invention, or the page of innovation, or the page of discovery, or the page of creating a societal change, or a page of removing the poverty, or the page of fighting injustice, or planning and executing mission of networking rivers, or smart Brahmaputra waterway. I'm sure you would like to do something different, out-of-box mission. What are they? Example I can give you. Will you be remembered for a very visionary action for the nation like Professor Vikram Sarabhai, Dr. Homi Bhabha, Professor Satish Dhawan, Dr. D.S. Kothari in the field of space science, nuclear science, and defense science. In steel making, Jamsetji Tata will be remembered for introducing new industrial system product which represent a convergence of technology for low-cost, high-efficiency products like bionic eye. Will he be remembered for creating a company which finds a place in the top 100 of the Fortune 500 companies from India? Will he be remembered for facilitating the creation of Pura complexes, providing urban amenity rural area in the neighborhood of your workplaces or your village or your district? Will he be remembered for working and creating a validated system for the production of 340 million tons of food grains and the value addition through food processing by the year 2020? Will he be remembered for modernization of small and medium-scale engineering institutions through the application of new technology and innovation? Will he be remembered as a discoverer of an inventor of new phenomena in basic sciences? Will he be remembered for promoting energy independence for the nation through the development of a renewable energy system? Will he be remembered for the action-oriented clean home, clean environment, clean state, and clean nation? Will he be remembered for evolving for a smart waterway for the whole country linking the major rivers? Once again, let me congratulate all the graduating students. My best wishes to all the members of IIT Guwahati for success in the mission for developing a quality technological human resource of the nation. May God bless you all, friends. Now, I have a 5-point oath for graduating students. You are ready? Will you take it? Yes or no? Because you are not taking food. Okay. Engineering and technology is a lifetime mission. I will work and succeed. Wherever I am, a thought will always come to my mind. That is, what process or product I can innovate, invent, or discover. I will always remember that let not my winged days be spent in vain. I realize I have to set a great technological goal that will lead me to think high, work, and persevere to realize the goal. My greatest friends will be great scientific and technological minds, good teachers, and great books. I firmly believe that no problem can defeat me. I will become the captain of the problem, defeat the problem, and succeed. I will work for making my city or town where I work as a carbon neutral city or town. My national flag flies in my heart, and I will bring glory to my nation. Thank you for it, sir. Now, I have some books for library, IIT Guwahati library, sir. Come, director sir, come. This for your library, sir.
The presentation of PhD degrees by the Chairman Senate will now begin. The Dean of Academic Affairs will present the PhD degree recipients and the Chairman Senate will confer the degree.
I present to you, sir, Sri Vijay Kumar Ravi and others, including those in absentia who have completed the prescribed course of study and have been found fit for the award of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, and pray that they be admitted.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as Chairman of the Senate, I admit you all, including those in absentia, to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy of the Institute and charge you to be worthy of the same.
Bijoy Kumar Ravi, Shobhika Boxi, Monas P, R. Anantraj, Prasad Jyoti Gautam, Mohammad Musahar Khan, Rosaline Sahu, Dhruva Jyoti Kolita, Devendra Singh, Mousumi Sharma, Himanshu Kathiyar, Shweta Ghai, Amrita Ganguly, K.
Now, Dr. Shankar Dayal Sharma Gold Medal will be announced. The Chairman, Board of Governors, Dr. R.P. Singh, is requested to present the medal. The Registrar will announce the award of Dr. Shankar Dayal Sharma Gold Medal.
Dr. Shankar Dayal Sharma Gold Medal is awarded to a graduating student adjudged to be the best in terms of general proficiency, including character, conduct, excellence in academic performance, extracurricular activities, and social service. For the award of the medal for the year 2012, I present to you, sir, Anshul Garg of the Department of Mechanical Engineering. The Institute silver medals, one for each of the disciplines under MSc, MA, BTech, and BDes programs, excepting the discipline of the President of India Gold Medal winner, is awarded to the student who ranks first, obtaining the highest cumulative performance index. For the year 2012, I present to you, sir, the Institute silver medal winners: Kartik Samantha, MSc Physics; Shamapadan Nandi, MSc Chemistry in absentia; Anurag Singh, MSc Mathematics and Computing; Nabanita Mitra, MA Development Studies; Rishabh Anand, BTech, Computer Science and Engineering; Sayantan Pal, BTech, Mechanical Engineering; S. Kameshwar, BTech, Civil Engineering; Arushi Bharsne, BTech, Biotechnology; Sudarshan Datta, BTech, Chemical Engineering; Sukanya Sonwal, BTech, Electronics and Electrical Engineering; Rasab Dinesh Shah, BTech, Engineering Physics; Prabhat Jha, BTech, Chemical Science and Technology; Nikita Garg, BTech, Mathematics and Computing; Zasanjit Kaur, BDes Design;
The Registrar will now announce the winner of the President of India Gold Medal, and the chief guest, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, Honorable former President of India, is requested to present the medal.
The President of India Gold Medal is awarded each year to the student who stands first, securing the highest cumulative performance index among all the students of the batch receiving the degrees of Bachelor of Technology and Bachelor of Design. For this year, I present to you, sir, Pratik Narendra Patil, BTech, Electronics and Communication Engineering, for the award of President of India Medal.
All the medalists, along with the chief guest, BOG chairman and the director, will now pose for photographs.
I present to you, sir, Amit Kumar Mandal and others, including those in absentia who have completed the prescribed course of study and have been found fit for the award of the degree of Master of Science in Chemistry, and pray that they be admitted.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as Chairman of the Senate, I admit you all, including those in absentia, to the degree of Master of Science in Chemistry of the Institute and charge you to be worthy of the same.
Anupam Bera, Arup Ratan Das, Chilara Mahinder, Kuldeep Gogoi, Mampi Barman, Manas Kumar Mandal, Manoj Kumar Barman, Narayan Sinha, Narayani Ghosh, Pradipta Das, Pushpal Mukherjee, Sanjay Mandal, Satyaranjan Guchait, Shilaj Roy, Siddhartha De, Sheikh Najmul Islam, Soham Mandal, Soham Samanta, Somen Mukherjee, Somendu Bishay, Saurabh Maiti, Saurabh Mukherjee, Subhabrato De, Sudeshna Manna, Sudipta Bagh, Yasin Sikdar.
All the degree holders are requested to please maintain silence and stay put on your seat. Graduates will now stand up and take the pledge.
I, Pratik Patil, a graduate of the Indian Institute of Technology, Guwahati, hereby pledge that I shall always endeavor to be scrupulously honest in the discharge of my duties. I shall utilize my knowledge, experience and skills to the best of my ability for the service of society and of the country and for the glory of the institute. In all circumstances, I shall uphold the dignity of the individual and the integrity of my profession. Thank you.
The chief guest, Honorable APJ Abdul Kalam, shall now leave the convocation hall. On behalf of the Institute, we thank him for gracing this occasion.
I declare the convocation closed. Thank you.
Now the national anthem will be sung. You are requested to stand up and not to leave your place till all the members of the academic procession have left the hall. Please maintain silence till the academic procession leaves the hall.